well, next up we're going to go to JoAnn, who is going to touch upon a topic that Barrett mentioned, which is once you have them in, what do you give them to do? And how can you connect with them and engage with them and give them all of that? So I will let you take it away.
Thank you so much, Melissa. Yeah, so creating the immersive self-guided tours, it kind of sounds like an oxymoron, right? A self-guided tour is such because it's whatever that user is going to make it to be. So I'm here, so Creston Electronics, we are a brand, the only brand actually that engineers, manufactures, and then supports the full facet of your intelligent home. So we're going to talk a little bit about how to use those technologies, how to leverage those technologies in creating this experience for your prospects out there. So we'll go through, we touched on a lot of this, the smart sales experience, really using some of that data that we're gleaning from these leads and from that back end there. We'll go into the data-driven prospect experience, the seller experience. I'm sorry, I'm skipping around a little bit. So the smart sales experience and then the virtual experience. I'm very excited to show you a little bit about that because that's going to take us a little bit outside of the box. I called it the virtual experience, but it's more your sales center experience. And we'll go into that in just a couple of slides. So our smart sales experience, there are so many homes out there that are already equipped with smart technologies. You might have your lighting, your shades, your audio, your video within the space. If you're selling a space that already has those technologies, leverage that. A lot of people now are looking for the homes that are already equipped with smart technologies. Showcase that right within that space, right within that self-guided tour. So even just for the safety and security of the seller, limited entry hours. So, we have the code that they are given through Entry Now, or Enter Now, and that only works within a certain time span. So it really is just that very personal level. Like you're set for this time. I think we have whatever grace period we have there, and that's the time that they are expected and are only allowed to. That seller can also get pinged if somebody tries to use that same code at some later time. Thankfully, we've not had too many negative experiences, but that's just another way to leverage the integrated technology for the benefit of that seller. And even these limited entry areas, when you have a home that is integrated with access control throughout the space, we're able to utilize that in these self-guided tours. So we want them to be able to, we want your prospects to be able to wander freely, to really be able to, again, self-guide their own tour. It's self-service. But perhaps in this particular space, this seller doesn't want anyone, really touching his collection of his cars. So that particular space is closed off, and we use the access control limitations there. So they can come up to that space, they can peer into the windows through those showcase glass walls, but they're not able to enter there. But that can be supplemented with the digital content. Perhaps there's a QR code nearby, and that user, that prospect, is able to, then access that digital content and still get the information that they want about that space without actually having to compromise the safety of that seller's space and their property. The wow factor. So most smart homes are equipped with some kind of occupancy sensor for whatever reason. In your basic sense, an occupancy sensor can turn on lights when you enter a room. It can turn off lights when it detects that there's no one in the room for, let's say, an hour or so. It's totally customized, right? So now imagine utilizing that technology when we're selling a home through self-service tours. So now imagine just walking into, so perhaps this isn't the best example because I love this view anyway, right? But imagine we're going through this space, and just by walking, just by crossing a specific threshold, so you're in that rear area of that space, all of a sudden now your motorized shades come up. So now it's revealing your audio, your visual senses. It's stimulating your visual senses. Now audio comes in, starting to really just build upon this experience. Your lighting comes in to really accent a lot of the features within that back area, within this yard, and it can even trigger your water features. So really it's creating that space, because I can guarantee you if you were doing this tour with a realtor, they would know exactly how to stage that, right? But That's what we're getting away from. So create that same experience and create that same wow factor without that realtor really just like selling it. Let that prospect, let that buyer create that themselves, and we're creating that emotional connection now, right? Like, you've been wowed. Imagine you bringing your friends, your family over, and they get to experience that because that's your home. So that's another really great way to create this immersive experience, utilizing the technology that's more than likely already in all of these homes. The data-driven prospect experience. We're not going to go too far into this because we've talked a lot about this, but it really is utilizing a lot of the information that we've now already gleaned from these prospects, right? From our questionnaires, from the forms that they're filling out online and everything. And this doesn't have to be anything intrusive. We're not looking to really take away from that self-service experience. They could be just something as simple as, what are you looking for in a home? What are some of your requirements? Something as simple as, how many minimum bedrooms are you looking for? Neighborhood features. What are you looking for in, your environment, in your space? And then from there, you can actually create custom video content that's going to play for these visitors when they come through. And we can utilize, we talked about the kiosks throughout the space. If they have the ability to play digital content, we can put those actually on any of the TVs that are within the home, and really just create that. So some of the examples here. So now this buyer, they filled out their forms. They're looking for minimum 3-bedroom, 3.5 baths, and living in place compliant. So these are generalizations that we should not make restrictive choices on. We're only going to show them this, we're only going to show them that. But these can help to guide our thinking, right? They also need access to private elementary and middle schools. So we can see, this is probably a prospect that has family value focus, So this is kind of where we can take that information and create content there. So when they're walking through, we're looking at, and these are just you don't have to create content for every single person that's coming through, but let's say quarterly, you create content specific to certain genres, right? So we want to show them maybe some neighborhood safety stats, some nearby necessities like medical facilities, doctors, dentists. They want to know that it's going to be easy for them to help to care for their family there. School district data, local recreation, what parks, what recreation is available to them. So just general ideas. It's not restrictive. We're just, helping to tailor that experience. So as they walk by and this content is coming, they're going to stop and say, oh, I'm really glad to know that. Just tailoring that experience, again, just based on the basic information that we can take from the already existing data that we're accessing there. Now, this is a different family here. Their requirements, they want a built-in bar. These people, maybe they like to entertain. They also wanted integrated audio throughout this space. They want public transportation, access to downtown, very easily accessed there. Again, we're not making any, formative decisions based on this, but this can also, this can help to guide what content we're creating for them. So now when they come through, they come upon the display. And again, there's neighborhood safety, which is important to everyone, but especially if you're going to be walking back and forth downtown, if you're going to be commuting, that can be a huge factor for you. Your arts and entertainment, maybe this is a great area for food and wine festivals, and that can pique their interest. If it's something, that is going to be relevant for them, it's going to resonate. So we're making those emotional connections through technology, even though there's not somebody there, just like ramming that information down their throat. This is going to resonate in a way that makes sense for them. So those community insights, again, very, very important to meet them where they are, right? So, and again, with the information we're already gleaning from those data points on the back end. I ran through that kind of quickly because I wanted to get to this. So again, this is our virtual experience, but this is more your sales center virtual experience. We don't have to talk about why this is important to different demographics and such. We all know why people like that virtual experience and that self-guided tour. That's why we're here, right? But we're going to talk about this in terms of near-field communications, that near-field communications technology. So has anyone here used their credit card like in a tap to pay setting, like in the store? Right, so that's your near field communications. You have your chip. It's when near field communications is really just, it's a communications protocol. It's a wireless communications protocol where when two compatible devices tap, they interact. Basically, to tap, they come into to contact. They're going to be exchanging the data exchange right there. Right, so you have your chip, you have your receiver, and that's where the data exchange happens. So we're going to talk about that in terms of this technology today and some really unique ways that we've seen this technology used in a sales center setting. So Creston, if you come over to our booth, you'll see that we have all of the technology here today where we're looking at consistent experiences, right? So now we're going to go back to, we've been around for 50 years. A lot of our technology over the last 50 years is tailored to that customized experience. So we were able to utilize some of these customized technologies and applications in ways that are very unique. So we have a developer, it's a high-end developer in a major metropolitan city. Please note this is not the actual sales center. We weren't allowed to use the photography from the space, but it's a developer. It's a very high-end developer dealing in luxury, and they have this amazing sales center where you see throughout this space they have architectural models of all of the different developments that they have under their umbrella. So they've integrated the near-field communications within this space. So on the bottom of each of these architectural models is that chip. You bring that chip or that architectural model over to a pedestal where the reader is integrated in there. You put the chip, the model on top of that pedestal, and it's going to initiate and trigger an experience. We'll get into what that looks like in just a couple slides, but I wanted to show you that's a little bit extravagant. That's, that's like a different percent. I don't even know what, like who's there, but they create this experience. This is like they welcome their prospects in. They give them champagne. They give them some very, some simple instructions like, hey, pick this up, put that there, get ready, So, and then they say, all right, they close the door. I'll be in the next room. Come get me when you have a question. So it really is, so these prospects are given the opportunity to just tailor what they're looking at, how they're looking at, and just like even just putting, could we possibly give them an iPad and say, press play for whatever video you'd like? Sure. But how much more fun is this, And they're going to remember that. They're going to tell their friends like, hey, if you're looking for something in this city, go to these guys because it's gonna blow your mind. So we'll go into what that looks like. And again, it doesn't have to be that extravagant. And it doesn't even have to be this model, right? Where you have your architectural models. Maybe it's like for a smaller boutique space. Maybe it's a single family home. It could be anything that you dream it to be. And that's kind of where we're going with this, right? Think outside the box and see what's available to you to really utilize the information that you're getting, and then just create this virtual sales center experience for your clients. So again, we can scale that from, your single family home, and that's just going to, to play something on a single screen there. You can have it, go onto a smaller video wall, and then, be invited to speak right then and there, face to face, whenever they're ready, and tailor it that way. Scaling up a little bit further, maybe just a larger video wall. Maybe this is the space where you're seeing people that are not just coming, on their own. Maybe they're coming in larger groups. So again, just scaling up throughout the space and the possibilities. And then, just bringing it, again, maybe a little bit more into the experiential and that immersive experience. So again, we're going to stay with this example here and have the NFC chip right into the architectural models. We're putting that on the pedestal. And now, these are the experiences, right? So now, this video plays. It's good, for this particular one, this is in a city where, we know that this is a city that's known for its dynamic energy. So now you have your video, it's coming in, it's a lot of energy. the lights become a little bit cooler. So it's that cooler, stimulating blue that we can do with our tunable LEDs. Now there's a narration telling you all about this space. In the background, subliminally, you have city noises. So it's really just beginning to create that space for you without being overly just like salesy. You're creating this, you can pause it whenever you want, whatever the case, but all of the different technologies are coming in to create this environment and this experience for you, not just handing you, a digital, brochure and just saying, thank you, hope to hear from you soon. Taking that a little bit further, now this is a space where this is a little bit more secluded. So now we're looking at the serenity of this balcony in this luxury high rise. So now this is the serenity of this space. Now the lights are going to become a little bit warmer. We're talking about, this like winding down how, we all know how like circadian lighting works, right? So taking those warmer lights in and creating that vibe within that space. The narration comes, maybe in the background, it's pink noise rather than the city sounds, right? But it's creating that, again, that emotional connection to this space because it's making you feel that calm that you want in this high-rise balcony. Another step further, just really just immersing that person, that prospect in that space. All the technologies come together again. Your lighting is adjusting depending on what messaging we're trying to, and what messaging and what vibe we're trying to create here. The audio, again, it adjusts with the appropriate response, right? Is it stimulating or is this going to be a more calming effect here? And if you really want to take it there, this is what we're seeing at that sales center where they're fully enveloped in this space. They are all within this space. You can actually see the exact view from one of the balconies there. And again, we're doing that lighting. We're going to be creating that softer lighting when that person wants to understand that calming vibe that they're going to get within this space. The audio, again, responds appropriately, the lighting and all of that, so that we are really using all of the technologies here, giving that prospect the ability to really just create their own experience, but really just surrounding them and really creating that connection through that technology so that it really does, again, just resonate and create that entire environment and that experience for them.
JoAnn, this has been so great. I want to hang out with your client. I actually am thinking we just need to hang out a lot more. That was amazing.